now I'm in a better place.
So what was the decision to jump into the podcasting arena? Not enough podcasts in the world?
Well, that was certainly one. It is the law. No, it was a bunch of things. First of all, if you had said to me, when did you start? 2009?
Yeah.
And what year did you become the king of podcasting?
5 years ago, probably.
5 years ago. Okay. So if you said to me 10 years ago, podcasting is going to be huge. It's really going to be where media moves. It's where people are. It's going to be bigger than radio at its height. I'd say, are you crazy? But partly because of you, it did, and so it's sort of undeniable now. And I also was out to dinner too many times with people who said, you're so interesting to talk to when it's not about politics. You should do a podcast that's not about politics. And I was always saying, well, first of all, my network would never let me do that. They own my ass. They pay me very well for exclusivity. But I found out that actually, you know what? I can, if I ask nicely, and they were nice about it, and do it in a very different way, which is what we did. I could do a podcast and have it not be about politics. And it's a whole new audience because there's just a lot of people who are turned off to politics and don't want to talk about politics and don't want to hear about it. And sometimes I'm that guy. Sometimes I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And there's too many people who are divorced from, shall we say, knowing things. I had this.
That's a great way to put it. Divorce from knowing things is a great way to put it.
I mean, I'm not saying they're dumb, not at
Right.
all. They're just, I had this a guy on, we hadn't dropped yet, and I said to him, he asked me sort of the same question, why are you doing this podcast? And I was going through this very similar explanation. I said, for example, on Real Time last week, the two topics we talked about were the ACLU and NATO. And he's 30, and he said, yeah, I don't know what either one of those are. I said, exactly. This is the problem. Or the solution is that we can have this nice conversation. You're a bright guy, but I can't, you would not be that interested in Real Time because even though it's a comedy show and there's a lot of funny stuff that, anybody could laugh at, yeah, when it comes to the panel discussion, it was mostly about NATO and the ACLU. Whereas this show, the podcast, it's just about anything. It's just much more personal. You can be like dressed like this. I'm not the guy in the suit and the tie and the white shirt with and I can just, and also I can, like we're here, be much more free would be the word I would say. Before we had to surround the fact that, no, we can get baked. We can drink and we can smoke and was what we would do normally. And I felt like, there's not a lot of podcasts that have a nighttime feel. And I had a place in my house that was like perfect for that. And we kind of made it into a club. We called it Club Random. And I said, I get high with people here anyway, like one night a week, just having fun. If I just turned the cameras on, we'd have a fucking show.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great that HBO is wise enough to let you do that too, because I think it'd only enhance your show. Well, it's not going to take away from it.
We already have from the commentary, from when people write in to YouTube and so forth, saying, "Oh, I'm going to take a look at Real Time now."
Yeah,
and that was part of my argument. Was like, if you want to get anyone under 40 who don't follow politics that well, you're going to have to fish somewhere else than where you've been fishing.
Yeah,
and when you do fish in this new pond, you will get people who will come over to your pond.
Well, I think one of the things that opened up a lot of people to your show during the pandemic especially was these clips that you guys were putting up. And I think that having those kind of clips, those kind of, viral clips of some of your monologues and some of your rants, I think those opened up a lot of younger people to it as well.
Yeah. I mean, well, of course,
same kind of thing, like using an alternative media.
Yes. And of course, nowadays we live in a time when people digest things not necessarily in the form that they were made. They get little clips. I mean, James Corden does singing in a car with people. The karaoke.
Right.
A lot of people see that much more than who stay up till 12:30 and watch that whole show
Right.
through their toes like they used to Johnny Carson and sit through commercials. I mean, I honestly don't know how those shows still last in the year 2022.